Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Four-wheel drive show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with Billy Pendock to my left, Blaze Winter down below.
That's me. Yeah.
That's him. The other four-wheel drive members, Jamie Kimmel right there, Timmy Green, Billy and I's high school teammate, Billy and Blaze's college teammate at Syracuse in the early 80s, four-wheel drive. Those guys all played in the NFL, and so we talk about virtues on this show. We talk about how to be a better player, how to be a good coach, what a bad coach looks like, and what a cancerous player, and everything in between. And I want to tell you, it is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. This show is brought to you, so thanks for Sandy Sansing. Go see Brad Bowes, get a car from him. Folks, we're going to talk about head, heart, and soul this week, guys. Conceive it.
Hey, Tripp, before we start, Brett set me up with a car.
Brad will set you up with a car. Yeah.
A nice one, huh?
Absolutely. Whatever you want.
A Chevy?
Yep. You want a Chevy truck?
Yeah! I'm coming your way, baby. Tell Brad I need a car. I need a car, man. A fast one. I need to get out of town fast.
Behind
us, Billy?
You got it. I thought you'd get a van again. Don't you want to?
Oh, no, man. I left that van to rot. Yeah. That van that fit 21 players in. 21 players. To this day, that's a world record. Guinness Book. 21 football players in a Chevy van. In 1980. That was nice. I like that. That was fun.
Oh, my gosh. You guys would do stuff like that. So was Timmy in that van?
I don't remember, but I know he was. I don't know. There were so many asses in there. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of butts and elbows, and faces. And Billy was in the front seat, though, telling everybody, "Come on, we have more room."
Yeah, pile on.
Yeah, no more room, Billy. No more room. Brad, I don't need a van. I need a Corvette. I need a sports car.
Oh.
I am very appreciative of his being a sponsor. That is awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks to Sandy Sansing, all our great sponsors. Hill Kelly Dodge as well. Listen, get up. I'll get you hooked up with Brad, and
I do. I need that.
What are you going through? A midlife crisis? Is that why you need that Corvette?
Yes. Yes, I'm going through a midlife crisis, and every day is a obstacle for survival.
He's been going through a midlife crisis for about 3 or 4 years.
Hey, that was a secret, Billy. You're not supposed to
he's way past. Billy, he's way past midlife.
Hell, I'm using my Grecian formula. My hair is still falling out. My gray hair, my armpit hair is longer than ever. My armpit hair.
Oh my
God! Oh, it's just terrible.
Nose hair and ear hair. All right, let's get into it, guys. Head, heart, and soul, man. You got to. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. You got to conceive it and believe it to achieve it.
My mother.
If you're lucky enough to find a guy with a lot of head and a lot of heart, he's never going to come off the field in second place. That's what Vince Lombardi says. And I'm sure you've heard that phrase. For success, you must conceive it and then believe it to achieve it. It's a cliche. And Lombardi loved quotes, maxims, phrases, and cliches. And he once said they're cliches for a reason because they're true. All right, now let's break it down to 3 stages of what we're going to talk about. Number 1. It's the conceive it stage. The conception starts with the mental stage. It's in your mind. It's in your brain. You think about it all the time. You visualize it over and over. Picture yourself making a difference or making a play on the field. Visualizing so much that you end up dreaming about it. It stays in your subconscious mind. That's why you can recall it. That's the conceive it stage. Number 2 is the believe it. It's the emotional and physical stage where action actually comes in play. You got to have extreme confidence in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. You got to have unshaken faith. You have to be an optimist. You can't be a pessimist. You have to have persistence. Persistence is omnipotent. You have to overcome obstacles, never quit. You have to do hard work. There's no substitute for hard work. You can't fake it. Sacrifice, you must give up something to get something. That's the believe it, emotional stage. And then after you do those two things, and there's a lot in those two things. Number 3, you get the achieve it phase. It's the self-actualization phase, okay? And it's the gratification and realization of achievement. So you rejoice, celebrate. And number 3, you're grateful for it. And then you get the feeling of humility. Number 4, you're humbled by it. And number 5 comes the honor. No person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been the reward for what he gave. Okay? So, we'll tackle visualization in another show, but I read a book called Without Hook on Jim Thorpe. It's a biography on the great Jim Thorpe. And he used visualization before on the ship ride over to overseas the Olympics. And he was using it before anybody even named it visualization. And I think he was the greatest athlete of all time. Guys, what do you guys think?
Let me start out with when you talk about those things, you talk about, especially you think about what comes to my mind is sports like track, like golf, like more individual than team sports, because we all 3 of us are defensive players, and even though we would visualize things, we want to see it the way it happened, we still have to react to what's in front of us. So, but you take a guy, like I don't know if Blaze ever played, but you get on the golf course, and the big thing is visualizing the shape of that shot when you're hitting that golf shot. And I've talked to a lot of sports management guys, a lot of sports therapy guys, and the more you visualize those things, the more that makes that shot easier, that play easier. Like you talk about Jim Thorpe, he did the decathlon, and he thought about every event before he even took the field, and that's very, very powerful, the mental part of it.
Billy, let me tell you the story. He was on that ship, and they couldn't train really good on the ship, but he was visualizing the long jump, and he took a tape measure there on the ship deck, and he went 20 feet, 21 feet, something like that, and he marked it off. And guys thought he was going to jump on the ship or do something crazy, right? He went back to his hammock, and he just thought about and looked at that 20 feet over and over and over. And what happens is, it's like watching film, right? If you watch a lot of film, and this team or this player does a certain route or moves a certain way when this formation happens and down a distance, then in your head, I've been here before. This is, and your body reacts. Muscle memory, right? There's a thing called you guys are strength and conditioning guys. That muscle memory is an involuntary reflex.
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. When I was throwing the shot and disc, I would stand in the circle with the shot, and for about 25 seconds, visualize every step across that circle till I released that ball. And that's a big part of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I believe that. You know what? I believe that the most important phase of this whole series of words is the first word. Conceiving something. I mean, if you're blessed enough, someone is going to introduce you. Someone's going to have it on the TV. Someone's going to have it on the radio. Someone's going to put a guitar in your hand and say, hey, you want to learn something? You want to go and get lessons and be a rock star? I mean, my mother introduced me to football. I had no interest in it because of my, problems with my face and my speech. And my mom thought it was a great equalizer for me to go out and find out that I have value beyond the spoken word. And my mom drove up to a field and she said, here, I signed you up for football. And it wasn't something I conceived. It wasn't something that I thought I could do. I mean, at a very young age, she was putting me out on a field saying, find out what your values are. Find out who you are. Find out if you can understand that it really doesn't matter what you say. It's what you do. And the coach came to the door of the car and said, come on, Blaze, hurry up. And I remember it like yesterday. And my mother looked at me, go, Blaze. And I said to my mother, I don't want to go. And I was just in middle school. And I said, I don't want to go. I just want to go home. And my mom looked at me and said, you want to go home and just sort of play the violin and it just be miserable? And I said, no, I just don't want to do this. This is, I don't know anything about it. Well, today's the day to start, my mother said. And the coach says, come on. I opened the door and I said to my mother, I hate you. And she said, well, I'll be here when you're done. Somebody introduced me to football. Somebody gave me a chance to see beyond my own trouble. And I think a lot of things are conceived by somebody having the balls to introduce you to something. I mean, there's a lot of great football players that follow their fathers that play in the NFL. There's a lot of great football players that, had a chance to see the field on a television and said, man, I want to do that. And then somebody drove them up there because they didn't necessarily have the age to drive the car. So somebody introduced them to something that would change your life. And that person that introduced them knew a little bit about your personality type, probably more than you knew yourself. And I'm forever grateful to all the people, including Jose St. Victor, who was my mentor, who taught me how to lift weights, Billy. I mean, in ninth grade, my mother introduced me to a guy who would be my mentor the rest of my life. Every day since ninth grade, he has sent me the word, scripture. How do I believe in a Holy Spirit if somebody doesn't introduce me to a Holy Spirit? Right. Man, people are valuable to other people. They destroy them and tell them nothing's impossible, nothing is possible, or they can tell them, hey, man, anything is possible. And I'm forever grateful to my mom and Billy and Tim and Jamie for constantly feeding me with, hey, man, you could do this, and introducing me something that is very valuable to this day to my life.
Yeah, good point. You actually had 3 points in here that you talked about, Blaze, and I want to talk about. Number one, you have to have a champion, somebody who uplifts you and encourages you. Got to have that number in your corner. Number two, Kerry Good and I talked about this a couple Monday nights ago. You can't always see the outcome, but you still have to take the risk. Okay, Amen. Champion, you still have to go. Like when I went, he used me as an example when I went to Alabama. And I couldn't see. I didn't know one person. Didn't know the program. Was shocked when I got there. I didn't see me, playing there because they were so good. But you got to have somebody to uplift you. And then 3, you got to have that interest. You have to have that interest to learn and grow and actually try things instead of staying home.
Yeah, it has to fit your personality. Billy was one of those guys at Syracuse. When my mom dropped me off, I didn't have my mom anymore to introduce things or solve problems for me. And Billy stepped in and said, hey, man, I'm going to help you through all this. I mean, he didn't say it that way, but he was there. He was available to me. He was there to show me, hey, man, you could do this. He knew George O'Leary more than I knew George O'Leary. And he told me the things to do and not do. And I'm forever grateful that he helped me visualize a positive outcome. Otherwise, man, O'Leary would have probably Billy? Shoot me up and spit me out because I wasn't used to a coach like that. Billy was. Billy's a lifesaver to me to this day because he opened doors to make it clear to me what was possible.
Billy, I want to hear from you after, from this question. But Blaze was talking about actually you have to input the believe it for you to conceive it. And maybe it does flip around. You got to have somebody in your corner that will give you the confidence to actually conceive it in your mind. Billy, what was Jimmy and Timmy? What were they good about? Conceiving, believing, and obviously all of you were achieving.
You know, the nice thing was with those guys, everybody, in a Blaze hit on it a lot of times, everybody was open to information from each other. And regardless of our athletic ability, you had a positive attitude from all four guys that didn't really get along outside of football, like best friends. And you look at, and I talked about this with somebody the other day, you know, when everybody looks at the four of us from the outside, I know high-fiving together, doing the stuff together we do on the field, everyone takes it for granted that you got a real close-knit brotherhood 24 hours a day, and it's not really like that. But when you convince each other that we play together as a unit and you're seeing things as a unit, and we would sit and watch film and visualize us taking that to the next game. And I think we were way far ahead of our time when that stuff went on. And a lot of it was due to Coach O'Leary being so strict and doing what he did. But the guys I played with, you know,
but Billy, each of us introduced to the other something that was remarkable to our lives, to be beneficial to the long run for the rest of our lives. For example, Tim Green in front of my eyes would be reading a book. He would be studying in the locker room. He would never stop reading. He would never stop writing. He showed me every day that there's something remarkable in doing this. And it led me to more openly open books rather than shut them and push them away. There was something remarkable. Jimmy Kimmel was a phenomenal athlete. He showed me athletic ability by the way he did things. Billy showed me pure strength and what the weight room can provide if you do it right. And he knew how to do it right in the weight room. He was a massive, strong human being. And he loved it. And all these guys loved what they did. Timmy loved to read. Jimmy loved to be that relentless athlete. And Billy loved to what? Outpower people. And man, it was so easy to become a little bit of them because they introduced you to something remarkable in their own lives that benefited them. It is what great football teams are made up of.
Right. Feeding off each other. Exactly. Feeding off the energy, sharing their positive traits with others so they can adopt those. And
the nucleus was O'Leary. And the nucleus was George O'Leary that knew, hey, man, we're going to put him with him with him. And all of a sudden you had a unstoppable D-line that even if we played on Saturday against Tennessee, we would have whipped their motherfucking ass. We would have kicked their ass up front because what? We were dynamic. We were benefiting from one another. We were a team. We were a brotherhood. Even if we had arguments in other parts of our life, when it came Saturday afternoon, forget it, man. Nobody was going to be left out.
Yeah, it's interesting when you come together like that, and you have a little bit of, you know what I didn't see in Bama and Syracuse, and you guys, where I was texting Billy, it's just not the mean, nasty, get out of my way. You have to have a switch, man. Turn on the switch when you step between the lines, and turn it off when you get out of the lines because it's a different arena.
And who feeds that, Billy? Who feeds that, man? You fed it to me when you saw my eyes drop. You saw me starting to get heavy in the heart. You were right there to feed me the proper words because you knew my personality type, how to get me what? Over it. You did that to everybody on the D line. You were the unspoken hero of the four-wheel drive without question. And you had the ability to what? Look at people and say, you know what you need? You need this. And you would deliver it. I mean, you see a lot of guys now that are not saying much to the other player because it's become an I sport. Football's the greatest team sport because we're supposed to give to one another.
Right, not take. You're supposed to give, not take. That's how you become honored, man. You don't become honored for taking stuff from somebody. You become honored because you gave. You gave others the ability to get better and grow. Billy,
Billy, look at Manning. Manning needed a brother to come up and say, "Hey, man, you're all right, brother."
Right.
And every time you saw him, he was alone. You imagine the pressure that kid was under?
Right.
Yeah.
To carry a whole entire team at number one in the nation against Ohio State?
No, you have to. No, Bill Azar, you're right about that. You can't be attacking this kid. You have to give him grace. You have to give this kid grace. So that's what you guys gave each other. That's what Billy gave. Billy gave grace.
Billy. The thing is, this day and age, with the money that's involved and the way things are now, you don't see the connections anymore. And please hit the nail right on the head. I. Everything is I. And it goes from the NFL to the college level, and now it's at the high school level. Everything is about
Billy, half the rosters are transfers. Half the rosters are what? Coming from another school. And how many people are absolutely jealous of Manning making $6 million a year? I bet you half that team hates his guts for making that much money, or having a father or a family like Peyton and Eli and Archie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's you can't overlook the fact that you're paying these different kids different amounts of money. So there's going to be those guys there that are going to say, you know, what am I doing here? Why am I killing myself to do this?
No, there's situations in those locker rooms all across the country right now that the better player is getting paid less than the starter or another guy. I guarantee you there's better players that aren't getting paid as well as other guys. And that creates resentment, man. You know,
it does. It's a National Football League, man, with 18, 19, 20-year-olds. It's the National Football League. They're not ready for that.
No.
They're not benefiting the idea of team being important when each of them are what? Doing car commercials and making millions of dollars? It creates a very hostile environment.
We need to have a show on the NIL on covering the differences in football then and then NIL now.
Okay, we'll do it next week. Let's do it. Let's do that next week.
I don't think a lot of people understand how exactly it works. I was explained the whole thing from Fran Brown, and I don't know, Blaze, if you were on the podcast on that thread that he did with all the alumni.
Yes.
Were you on that?
Yeah.
And he explained all the tiers of the NIL, how the money is distributed. And I'll tell you, it's very interesting.
Okay, let's do that next week. That'll be our subject for next week. All right? But this week, conceive it, believe it, achieve it. Whether you believe it, that's where the work comes in, but you got to think about it, or somebody like Blaze or all of us. A champion has to put it in your head that you're good enough to be there.
Amen. Yes.
And then you have to, and then you will achieve it. So, all right, good show, guys.
Hey, nice show. Blaze, good to see you back, man.
Yeah, it's good to have
I'm
you back,
here.
Blazer. Good to have you back.
I'm
buddy.
here. I'm angry, but I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, man, a lot of angry Bama fans too, buddy. Let me tell you.
Oh man, and you know what? The team that really you got to be careful for, because they played a lot of this conceive, believe, achieve. Is Florida State. Watch out, man.
They wanted it. They
played
more.
together. They played aggressive, and they went after them.
Yeah, you could just. I mean, it was so obvious. It was hanging in the air. It was thick. Everybody could see it, and that's what's most disappointing. You know, never since I stepped on that campus in 1980 and they won back-to-back titles, 78, 79. There was a standard there for 20 years before I got there. And if you weren't on board, you get off board. And that's what has to happen now. Saban was the same way. If you're not all in, you're out. You can't be a little in. And it looks like there's so many guys that are barely in. And it's just, so frustrating to us, man. And I know, Billy.
Remember, one of those words can't stand alone very well in a team sport. You got to have the perceive, believe, achieve by a unit of people, or one shared it with another to create the momentum that you want on the field.
Right, to create that culture. That's what creates the culture.
Yes.
All right, guys, great job.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
See you later, boys.
I'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Love you all. Bye.
Love you.
Man. Bye-bye.
Wow. What a great show by those two guys. Thanks, Billy and Blaze. Another show, another four-wheel drive in the book. Stay tuned for these great messages. Without them, this just wouldn't be possible. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you soon. So long.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at HillKellyDodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
Over 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.